Hey guys, welcome to my Saturday book review. So every Saturday I do a book review, and this week is no exception. So thanks for watching. But before I get into the book review, please hit that like and subscribe button down below for me. I really appreciate that. Lets me know that you're watching. You can also comment down below because that's kind of awesome as well. But the like and subscribe button, that's what I really need you guys to do. So, today's book review is of Stephen King's Salem's Lot, right here. This is actually my first book that I ever read of Stephen King. I read this book back in the 1980s. I think I was in junior high school when I read this. This is my original copy. I've had this probably for over, what is that, 30 something years. That makes me kind of old. This book was written in 1976 by Stephen King, and that was the year I was born, so this makes this book kind of old, but it's kind of cool. The cover of this book kind of gives you that imagery of the children in the window, and it's kind of creepy. What this book is really about, it's a classic vampire novel that Stephen King lays out brilliantly. And it's based in this town called Salem's Lot, Jerusalem's Lot, really, but shortened to Salem's Lot. And this guy Ben Mears, he comes back to this town to write a book about this house that he had this encounter in when he was a kid. It's called the Masterson House, and the Masterson House is this old creepy, almost like psycho house on the hill. And when he gets to town, he really wants to get in the house. He wants to live in there, and finds out that somebody's already purchased the house, and he can't live in the house. And so he goes to this little boarding house in downtown. He starts to write his book, and before you know it, things start happening in the town. And ever since somebody moved into the Masterson house, these things have started to occur. Children have started to go missing. There's people are starting to point fingers at people. People are pointing fingers at Ben. But really, what's happening is that there's a vampire infestation in this small town, and Stephen King lays it out really well. Bringing killing kids is kind of a touchy subject, and it's a little bit dark, but Stephen King does it very well. I think that he's just a master at that kind of taboo type of subjects that maybe new authors or fresh authors don't really tap into as much. Kind of like, it was also kind of one of those books where it's like you're dealing with kids. It's going to be kind of a little bit rough. It's going to be a little bit dark. But Stephen King does a really good job with this book. The basis of the book is that Ben's got to find a way to not only prove that he's not a child murderer, but he also needs to rid this town of this infestation of vampires. He falls in love along the way. He meets a lot of friends. There's some up and downs. There's some side stories. There's a lot of really great content to this book. But at the end of the day, it's such a great vampire series, and it just reminds you kind of almost like Bram Stoker's Dracula. And obviously, that was a big influence to Stephen King when he wrote Salem's Lot. Is that the Bram Stoker's Dracula of the falling in love and the good versus evil and the struggle to find the vampire and to kill him and all this stuff, and the imagery of Bram Stoker's Dracula. You could tell that was a huge influence in Stephen King's writing. And I think he admits to that as well. I've watched some interviews about how he was inspired to write Salem's Lot, and it was basically he wanted to write a thrilling kind of classic vampire novel, but he wanted to write it in his own terms and in his own way, which he does perfectly. When you read this book, you know that you're reading a Stephen King novel. Stephen King, over the years, has become my favorite author, for good reason. Not just because most of his books get turned into movies or TV shows and he's very popular, but just the way that he lays out stories and the risks that he takes. That's the biggest part about Stephen King's writing, is the risk that he's willing to take in his books to convey a great story. And a lot of people just won't get up to that line. Stephen King sometimes crosses the line. There's sometimes when I read it, that he crossed the line on a few things. There's a few things even in Salem's Lot that it's a little bit morbid and you're crossing the line just a little bit. But at the end of the day, just that he presses the envelope so much inspired me to be a writer in the first place. So after I read Salem's Lot, that's really when I wanted to dedicate myself to writing, and I started to write short stories when I was very young, and it was all based on reading one singular book. So I highly recommend reading Salem's Lot. I give it 4.5 stars out of 5 stars, just because again it's a little bit more personal to me than some of the books that I read and review. I think most people would probably just give it 4 stars, but I'm going to give it an extra half star just because of that reason. Is because there's a definite inspiration in my writing, especially the last book that I'm in the process of trying to find a publisher and an agent to take on. And it's called the Click House Haunting, and you can read a little bit of the synopsis on my website at tameyers.com. It's just TAMEYERS.com. I'll leave the link down below. Also leave the link to this book on Amazon so you can purchase it if you'd like. Thank you guys for watching the videos. Thank you for watching my book reviews on Saturday. I really appreciate it. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you put on your notifications. That way every Saturday when I post a video, you can go on and watch it immediately. But I really, really like it. Leave a comment below if you would. Let me know if you've ever read Salem's Lot. And also let me know what your favorite Stephen King book is. Obviously, this is mine, just because of the inspiration and how young I was when I read it. And I've read it several times over the years just to refresh my memory. But put a comment down below about your favorite Stephen King book. Thanks for watching. Check back next week for more videos. Thank you. Have a great Saturday.